What's up, guys? Best in West here, and a few of you guys have been asking me about my team and how I decided which Pokemon to pick. And I know some of you guys still might have your Twilight Cup still happening this weekend, even though Niantic just announced a couple of events for this weekend, which I'm pretty mad about because it's also my birthday weekend. There's a bunch of stuff that I'm not very happy about with Niantic right now, but it is what it is, right? So in this video, I'm going to be going over my team and why I decided to pick the move sets and the Pokemon that I did. I think that this can help you guys with your decisions. You don't have to agree with me on everything that I did, but it did win me the cup, so I think it has some validity to it, and hopefully the decisions and the points that I make can help you either reconsider the picks that you made or maybe confirm the picks that you made. Whatever the case, I hope you guys enjoy the video. If you haven't already yet, make sure you subscribe and like this video. It'll help me a lot. I'm hoping to get to 1,000 subscribers within the next month or two. That's about 200 subscribers. By subscribing and liking this video, it'll help me get more, I guess, more views and maybe more subscribers. Anyways, make sure you like and subscribe. And without further ado, let's get to it. Hey, so I wanted to. I'm adding this in after, but I forgot to talk about my theory on the two types of strategies um, to this cup. I believe that there are two types of strategies. One's focused on fast moves, and the other one's focused on charge moves. So if you look at the meta, right? Let me take a look at this meta real quick. So if Skuntank can run Bite, which is a very high DPS, damage per turn, DPT move. So let's go DPT and sort it right here. So Razor Leaf is OP, so that's another move. Confusion, Bite, Counter, right? Those four moves right there are in this meta. Also Smackdown. So those five moves are in this meta alone, right? So those deal so much damage just from fast attacks. So I believe that you can go that route. If you go that route, you're going to be using Venusaur with Razor Leaf. You'll be using Gloom with Razor Leaf. You're going to be using Drapion. You're going to be using just Pokemon with those moves will deal tons of damage just neutral, you know. The only thing is they charge energy relatively slow. Other than Counter and Confusion, they just don't charge things up very well. Smackdown, let's see. Smackdown charges 2.67. Bite and Razor Leaf only charge 2.0. Confusion is a very slow attack. You guys have to look at that, right? 4 turns. That's 2 seconds each Confusion. Smackdown is also relatively slow. 3 turns. So that's 1.5 seconds. So that's one way. This is my theory, right? This isn't proven, but this is my theory as to one way that you could go. So you'll be using, like I mentioned, Venusaur, Gloom. You use Skuntank with Bite. You're going to be using Toxicroak with Counter. You're going to be using T-Tar with Smackdown. You're just trying to not have to rely on those charge moves, right? Now, the downside of this is that you don't have very much variety, right? Like you're stuck with this one fast move. Like Venusaur with Razor Leaf can't switch into some kind of poison move because Razor Leaf you're relying on that Razor Leaf to do damage. Same with Bite, same with Confusion, same with Smackdown, right? You're not relying on relying on the charge moves to deal damage. You're relying on the fast move to deal damage. Therefore, you're stuck in that one type. The other way to go is relying on charge moves. Now, if you're going to rely on charge moves, you have much more variety, right? With options, you have much more options as to how to deal damage to your opponent. Now, if you want that, you want to have your highest DPE. So, with Froslass, you have Powder Snow. If you look at my team, sorry, this is my team. You have Bubble, which is Azumarills. Let's see. You have Counter. Like I said, you guys probably know Counter is extremely OP. And Poison Jab, right? So my Skuntank's running Poison Jab. Let's see, where Wing Attack is right here, 3.5 energy per turn. The only Pokemon that doesn't have a DPE above 3, I think. Let's see. No, it's probably still above 3. I think it has Feint Attack. What does it have? Snarl, right? Sorry about that. Hit my mic. Snarl. 3.3 energy per turn, right? It's a little slow of an attack at 3 turns, but it has a very good energy per turn. So that's my theory onto the 2 ways that you can go. By focusing on one, you can kind of maximize the output of that choice you made. But I have seen occasions where you can kind of mix the two, and it has become advantageous to it. But I just decided that I was going to go one way, which was the charge moves, because I liked that I had options when it came down to typing. So yeah, I'm going to add this to the beginning of the video. So but I actually recorded this after. So if you guys get confused with like how I said certain things, I'm sorry, but I felt like it's a very important part as to how I built my team. Hey, what's up? So I have my setup right here. Samsung Flow on the right side and PV Poke on the left side, which is a simulator. I highly suggest using this. It's a good place to start. I mentioned this in my other video where I say that simulations don't tell you everything, which I still stand behind, but again, it's a very good starting point. So right here on the right side, you see my Twilight team that I used in the Twilight Cup. Yeah, that's really cool that I can use this. Anyways, let's get to it. So let's get to the first Pokemon that pretty much defines this meta, right? We have Toxicroak right here. So with this Toxicroak, I have Counter, Mud Bomb, and Sludge Bomb. So the reason why you want Counter is to deal with those Pokemon that are weak against fighting. Toxicroak is the only Pokemon in this cup that has a fighting type fast move. And so, and Counter is extremely broken. It's just super good, so there's no reason to not have it. So Counter will deal with the Pokemon that are weak to fighting, such as you have T-Tar and any dark type Pokemon such as Umbreon. Yeah. So moving right along, we have Mud Bomb, which is a move that you pretty much need to have. Poison is weak against ground, and there aren't too many Pokemon that have ground type attacks. Toxicroak is one of them, so I mean, might as well use it, right? The next move is Sludge Bomb. So the reason why you want Sludge Bomb is because you want to be able to counter the Fairy type Pokemon. When I say Fairy, I mean Azumarill and Alolan Ninetales, right? Or even Clefable or any of the other Fairy types that are part of this meta. They aren't used that much, mainly because what I found in my research is that they don't perform very well because there's so many of these poison type attackers. Yeah, in within the main meta of poison, ghost, fairy, and dark, poison doesn't have a weakness to any of the other ones. Poison's the only one. So with that being said, poison's going to be used the most in this tournament. So Toxicroak, there's Toxicroak. Um, you can do your research. Toxicroak's going to be in pretty much every meta, or almost every team that you come across. Toxicroak is going to be in it, and just the threat of it is big enough so it warrants a spot on your team. The next Pokemon is Skuntank. So Skuntank right here. So Skuntank is one of these Pokemon that has the poison and dark typing. You can look at it later, but it's one of the best Pokemon in this cup. So moving along to the moveset, Poison Jab, Crunch, and Sludge Bomb. Now, the most common moveset that you're going to see is Poison Jab, Crunch, and Flamethrower. I decided against that. Now, the reasoning behind that is because I found in my practice battles is that Crunch and Flamethrower do almost the same thing. Now, within the meta, you have Venomoth and Dustox and maybe Froslass and maybe the grass Pokemon that will be weak to fire Pokemon, weak to Flamethrower, right? Let's take a look over here. Great League. Let's take a look at Twilight Cup. So as you can see, Skuntank's number 1, and rightfully so. It has the dual typing of Poison Dark. Right here, Drapion also has it. The other Pokemon that has it is Alolan Muck, right here. And so with that said, you just pretty much have to have Skuntank. So Poison Jab charges energy super fast. Crunch will deal super effective damage. It charges super fast as well, and it also gets the stab bonus. So might as well take advantage of that. Sludge Bomb. Like I mentioned earlier, in my team composition, I don't have that many poison moves. The other poison move I have is Poison Fang, which doesn't do that much damage, and Sludge Bomb on Toxicroak. As you'll see, like in the video that I'm going to edit later, I don't have that much. I don't have that I don't use Toxicroak that much, just because it's pretty squishy. So that's why I chose Sludge Bomb, and I don't believe I ended up using it, but I wanted to have it just in case I ran Skuntank into Azumarill, which may have happened, may not have, but I'll have to look at the footage a little bit later. So that's Skuntank. The next one is Golbat. I had another Golbat that got closer to 1500, but I needed the Stardust really bad. The good thing about Golbat is that its second move only cost 10,000 Stardust. So that's one of the main things. And I decided Golbat instead of Crobat because it charges its charge moves a lot faster. Now, Wing Attack, Poison Fang, Shadow Ball. Wing Attack deals with the grass type Pokemon, can deal super effective damage against Venomoth, and Poison Fang is a very fast charge move that will deal super effective damage to those fairy types. And one of the common Pokemon in this meta is Azumarill. So with that said, I got Poison Fang. Shadow Ball over, I forgot what the other move was. Was it? I forgot what the other move was, but anyways, the Shadow Ball deals a lot of neutral damage to a lot of Pokemon. So, sorry. So, Shadow Ball deals a lot of damage to a lot of neutral damage to a lot of Pokemon. So, the only Pokemon that only type that resists Ghost in this meta is Dark. So, I figured I'd bring it in. And even so, it has one of the highest DPE in the game. So let me go to this.
PvP, Pokemon Go movesets. Moves. Let's see. So I really like Pokemon Go Hub right here. It shows you the different moves. So if you look at, if you sort by DPE, which is damage per energy, you have this right here. So if you look at, let me find it. Oops. If you look for Shadow Ball, right? Shadow Claw, Shadow Punch, and Shadow Ball. You have 1.82 damage per energy, which, as you can see, is pretty darn good. It's one of the highest damage per energy outputs in the game. So I just feel like it's really good. Only takes 55 energy to charge up, and it does 1.82 damage per energy. So I think it's worth it. So that's my thoughts on Golbat. So I decided to go with it. Oh, forgot to talk about the counters and why you would use it. So, like I mentioned, it counters the grass types. It can deal super effective damage against Venomoth and Dustox and any other bug types that you may run into with its wing attack. Poison Fang, I talked about. Shadow Ball can counter like other ghost types, such as Froslass, Sableye, Haunter, any other of the ghost types that you may come across. Now, ooh, what am I doing? Okay. Now, the main reason why you would have it, though, is to counter this guy. So, Golbat has the wing attack, which deals super effective damage against Toxicroak because of the fighting. And it also has the flying type, so the counter will deal not very effective damage. Also, it's flying, so the Mud Bomb will not do very effective damage to it, even though Golbat is the poison type. It won't affect it very much. It'll be 2 minus 1, so yeah, there's that. Okay, so moving right along to the next Pokemon on the list, we have Froslass. So Froslass has the moveset of Powder Snow, Shadow Ball, and Avalanche. This moveset is pretty OP in my opinion. Once they added Froslass near the middle the of the month, and once I saw this, I immediately switched over. Initially, I had Driftblim. I saw that ghost types weren't used that much, and it was super effective against Toxicroak because ghost types double resist fighting moves, and it resists poison moves. So I wanted to use a ghost type, and Froslass has that ghost type, but it does have the weakness to fighting as well. So it has a one-time weakness to fighting, but has a double resistance to fighting as well. So it's a one-time resistance. Sorry if you didn't catch that, but pretty much it's good against fighting. Powder Snow and Avalanche are two of the most potent moveset combinations in the game. So if you look over here, Powder Snow. Let's take a look. Powder Snow charges energy so fast. Over here on the right side, right here where it's highlighted, it's 4 energy per turn. That is ridiculous. I believe that's the highest. No, okay, second highest energy per turn that you can have in this game. 4 energy per turn. So that builds up your energy super fast. And then on top of that, you have this OP move right here. You have Avalanche, which deals 2 damage per energy. You know how I talked about Shadow Ball being a broken move? Well, not a broken move, but like a very powerful move. Avalanche does 2.0 damage per energy, only cost 45 energy, and with that 4 energy per turn charge rate of Powder Snow, you get these avalanches off super fast. So Avalanche does neutral damage to almost everything in this meta, other than Azumarill and Quillfish, I believe. Let's see if I can think of anything else. Oh, Alolan Ninetales. Um, if you see any of those, you'd probably try to use Shadow Ball instead, which is why I have Shadow Ball there, which is, again, another extremely strong move. Also, you would also prefer to use Shadow Ball instead of Avalanche if you run into another Ghost type, which hopefully you don't. Let's see if I can. There we go. Okay, so that's why I chose Froslass. Now with Froslass, be you have to worry about the other Ghost types and Dark types. So Umbreon, Crunch. You want to make sure you block those. So Bite on any of the Pokemon that have Bite, you have to watch out for those. Drapion is one of those Pokemon that are most likely going to have Bite. Alolan Muck has a potential to have Bite, and Skuntank has a potential to use Bite. But from my experience, most Skuntanks don't use Bite. Most of them want to charge up that charge move as fast as possible using that Poison Jab and get that Crunch off. So make sure if you're using Froslass against a Skuntank, you block those crunches because it's crucial. But because Powder Snow charges up so fast, you'll end up getting at least one of those avalanches off before Skuntank gets it off. Let me show you real quick what a simulation says at least. Here's Froslass and here's Skuntank, right? Let's say you bring out Froslass versus Skuntank in the very first matchup. You lead off with both of them, right? You both have 2 shields. See how it goes. Bam. Froslass wins if you shield everything, right? Like, it crunch. So this is exactly how you would play it too. Froslass gets an avalanche off. Crunch, shield, 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 shield. Froslass gets an avalanche off. Knocks out Skuntank, right? Now, the different moves, the other Pokemon that will beat Froslass, let's see, Azumarill, right? This is the moveset you'd probably come up against. And this isn't even like what will actually happen, right? You don't know how the shield usage is going to go, but Shadow Ball actually charges even slower. So Frostlass's first move is probably going to start like right here. Yeah, it's just not a good matchup for Froslass. Let's just say that. Azumarill, Umbreon is like the worst. Let's say you don't have Last Resort, right? Let's just run it. You see that? It doesn't work against Dark Pokemon, Dark fast moves, or Pokemon that resist ice moves. So let's see, Quillfish. It might, yeah. I don't think this is a good matchup for. Yeah, it loses against Quillfish as well, but not by much. So that's one of the reasons why I chose it, is because even if it loses, it doesn't lose by much. The next Pokemon you bring in, it'll one-shot this Quillfish if you decide to do so. So the next thing... But anyways, you get the point. Froslass is ridiculously good in this cup. Azumarill. Now, I mentioned earlier, Azumarill is crazy good. It's extremely tanky, has a very high stamina and defense. Oh, oops, sorry. Azumarill. So it has an extremely high stamina, a very strong defense, which makes it ideal for any of these cups. Great League, Ultra League, Master League. Probably not Master League. Master League doesn't really matter. So the moveset you want to have is Bubble, Ice Beam, and Play Rough. Ice Beam has a very high DPE. and it hits almost everything for neutral damage, if not super effective damage. So the bubble will hit T-Tar for super effective damage, but the main reason why you want bubble is because it charges up that energy extremely fast. So you look at bubble right here, 3.67. That's only a little bit below powder snow, which is extremely good. So ice beam is really good. It'll hit most things for super effective or neutral damage. So most of the time you're going to be using ice beam. Now the only time you wouldn't be using ice beam is if you run into an Azumarill mirror. So if you run into a Azumarill mirror, you're going to use Play Rough, which it will deal neutral damage against it. Or if you run into a T-Tar, Play Rough will if you run into a dark type Pokemon, Play Rough will deal super effective damage against it. So that allows for some utility against like dark types. So if you run into an Umbreon or a T-Tar, Bubble will deal super effective damage against the T-Tar, but Play Rough will also deal super effective damage against the T-Tar, and it will deal neutral damage against itself. So that's Azumarill. And now the last Pokemon that I chose, that I put in last minute, was this Umbreon. So for some reason, yeah, Niantic has not fixed this thing. So what you probably want is Feint Attack, I believe. Let's see. Oops. So I'm using Calci IV. So you'd probably want Dark Pulse because it has a higher DPE. But that's fine. They're pretty comparable. So yeah, there's a glitch where I can't change foul play, but it's okay. This served me extremely well. Once I upload the video, you'll see exactly how I use Umbreon. It counters almost everything in the meta. So if you look at, let me show you this real quick. Umbreon, and let's do multi-battle. Let's do Twilight Cup. Let's do no shields, okay? Let's just see. It will win 44 matchups and only lose 28 matchups, which is crazy good, right? Like, you have more than, let's say, 75, there it is, 60% chance of winning just randomly picking Pokemon from the Twilight Cup. Now, one of the key matchups, which you'll see in the video, is, where is it? You will see Golbat. So let's take a look at this matchup. So Golbat will be running Wing Attack and probably Shadow Ball, right? Similar to mine. So take a look at this. Look at how much HP it still has, right? Considering that you have no shields. Now, let's say Golbat has one shield, right? You still win this matchup, which is ridiculous, right? Okay, let's say Golbat has two shields. You still win this matchup. So Umbreon versus Golbat is a crazy good matchup. And let's say Froslass, right? I talked about how good Froslass was in the meta. No shields, right? Crazy. Let's say one shield. Still wins. Now, two shields is another story because Avalanche will deal neutral damage. Powder Snow and Avalanche both deal neutral damage to Umbreon. So that's it. It still does damage, right? But with one shield, it's pretty. One shield versus two shields. Okay, there you go. pretty much what I'm trying to get at is in most neutral matchups, as in like both Pokemon have the same amount of shields, Umbreon will win. Um, and so that's why I chose Umbreon. Now, looking at the whole team, I feel like I have a pretty balanced team. Do you guys spot anything that I'm missing? If you guys said I'm missing what? What am I missing? If you guys can point anything out, brownie points to you. Oh, you're saying I'm missing psychic type moves? Now, why would you need psychic type moves? To counter poison types, right? Now, what? Let's see. To counter poison types. So I have a ground move right here. Poison, right? Dark moves deal neutral damage to it. So this will deal neutral damage. 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 This will deal neutral damage with my... It'll deal super effective damage with my Mud Bomb. So all these Pokemon have the ability to deal neutral damage to poison types. So I'm not extremely worried. I just want to make sure that they don't have that advantage on me. Now, Umbreon, right? Weaknesses, fighting. Okay. I have Azumarill. I have Golbat. Okay, so I'm not super worried about it, and it only has a one times weakness, right? Because it's a single type, dark type. Like let's say I lead off with Umbreon, I can quickly, if I see it's an unfavorable matchup against Toxicroak, I can switch into Azumarill right away. Right, like it'll deal, and plus Umbreon is extremely tanky. You see this 173 defense and 156 stamina. Crazy. So that's my team. The composition of it and choosing teams and stuff, I'll go over it in my Twilight Cup redo, but I feel like this team is extremely well balanced. And so if you guys have any questions, make sure you leave it in the comments section below. I'll try to get to them as soon as I can. I'm sorry this video is kind of long. A lot of thought went into picking this team. And I think it was that thought and that time and effort that allowed me to win this Twilight Cup that I just participated in. Alright guys, that's it. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, found it useful. I could talk about this forever, but it is what it is. I don't want to keep you guys up any longer. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. And yeah, until next time guys, best in West. I'll catch you guys later.